Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the latest issue of Warhammer 40k Imperium magazine. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, drop a comment down below. I love hearing back from you guys, and it goes a massive, massive way to help the channel too. Now, this week we're on issue 58 of Imperium, and we have our second of the three Canoptech Wraiths. Pretty decent model. This will be a slightly different sprue from the last one that we had as well, so each one is different, so makes it a lot more unique, as opposed to the two blades where the sprues are identical and you just have different build options. So really, really cool stuff. But yeah, really, really good. I'm kind of looking forward to getting going with mine, and yeah, it should keep us busy for a little while, and then a very nice addition to kind of building up your Necron forces as well at the same time, in all honesty. Also, with this week's issue, we do get another double-sided playmat. So on the one side, it's kind of that kind of snowy-looking tundra-style terrain, and then on the inside, when I can find it, normally helps. There you go. It's kind of that shattered earth, kind of a mix between lava spewing up and some Necron, kind of a green, kind of Necron-y kind of colouring behind it. Looks a bit like warp, in all honesty, if you were going through like Age of Sigmar, for instance, like Warpstone or something like that maybe. But yeah, really, really cool stuff, and a bit more space to play, and different mats as well, which is always really good stuff. Into the issue itself though, we are greeted by back to the Space Marines, in all honesty. So this is a background page about the Space Marines, and this is heroic origins. So you can give heroic origins for certain characters, including your Primaris Captain, which we got with issue 5, which was an exclusive captain. If you have got other Space Marine captains, you can also utilise the heroic origins for them from this page to build up kind of like a backstory behind them, if you wish to as well. So really, really cool stuff. Yeah, really, really quite fun, and a bit of something a bit different, which is the main thing. You can also give your heroic origins through the D3 charts to your lieutenant, your librarian, and your lieutenant in Phobos armor, which is something we haven't had yet, but will be coming in a future issue. So really, really cool stuff. So kind of yeah, a little bit of hint of what's to come. So really, really cool bits and pieces there. Moving on though, we move on to the Black Templars. The Holy Chapter, one of the other major chapters from the Space Marines as well. So, the Black Templars are warriors of the Adeptus Astartes, yet, for all their similarities to their brother chapters, they also diverge greatly from the teachings of the Codex Astartes. Unlike other Space Marines, they see the Emperor as a god to be worshipped and adored. So, during the second founding, the Imperial Fist sired two successor chapters. One of these, the Black Templars, were by far the more divergent in their doctrines and beliefs. The Black Templars echo the Emperor's Great Crusade, possessing no homeworld, but instead plying to the stars in tireless fleets of void ships, eliminating each new threat to humanity as they encounter it. Just as the Emperor's decree forbade the Space Marine legions to deploy Psykers within their ranks, so do the Black Templars refuse to include them in their ranks. Even those that are required, such as navigators and astropaths, are employed grudgingly and treated cruelly. So, the Black Templars are essentially the zealous chapter of the Space Marines, so they are holy warriors in a way. So kind of like the Adeptus Sororitas treat everything as very religious, and they worship the Emperor as a god. The Black Templars do very, very similar, and but yeah, they actually have a lot of cruelty in them and malice towards any Psykers or navigators and astropaths that they need to use to navigate warp as they go and navigate space. And yeah, so they treat them a bit horribly at the same time, which isn't great, but a really, really cool chapter, and a pretty interesting one as well at the same time. A lot of pretty interesting lore behind them. So they do have, of course, they have a High Marshal, which is Helbrecht. So the position of High Marshal is roughly equivalent to that of Chapter Master. Helbrecht has served in this position for many decades. Since his appointment, he has led crusade after crusade, never stopping in his efforts to cleanse the galaxy of the Imperium's foes, regardless of the blood of his brothers must shed. Then there is also Grimaldus, hero of Hell's Reach. So, High Chaplain of the Black Templars, Grimaldus is an exemplar of the Imperial faith. He earned the title Hero of Hell's Reach during Hell's Reach Crusade. His passionate litanies inspired the Black Templars as they battled an overwhelming force of orcs. When the fighting finished, Grimaldus emerged as the only survivor. And of course, they are the Emperor's champions as well. So the Emperor's champion is a living miracle who manifests, so the Black Templars believe, by the will of the God Emperor. The blessing can come upon any amongst the chapter from neophyte to martial. Once it does, the warrior's old life is done. Upon the eve of battle, the chosen receives a vision from the God Emperor of the deeds they will achieve as his champion. So, a bit of rich history and lore behind them. Really cool as well. They're pretty different, and they are very, very, God bothery is the word, the kind of phrase that springs to mind about them. So yeah, they do worship the God Emperor and see the Emperor as being the Almighty, and follow him blindly, really. So a bit zealous in their kind of beliefs. Then we move on. One of the heroes of the Adeptus Sororitas, more than Val. So Abbess Sanctorum. More than Val is the spiritual and military leader of the Adeptus Sororitas, recently elevated to Abbess Sanctorum. She has proven uncompromising in command, unleashing the might of the Ordos Militant to scour worlds of heretics, Xenos and the Faithless. So, she was once a Celestin superior of the Order of the Argent Shroud. Morthan Val is one of the youngest sisters to have been promoted to the position of Abbess. Her devotion to the Emperor is beyond question, and she is a shining beacon to which the entire sisterhood looks as a spiritual and martial example. So, Morthan Val is actually one of the newer additions, in a way, to the Adeptus Sororitas. Has this pretty cool battle suit that she wears, which is a big mech-like battle suit. He's pretty cool. It's quite a nice looking model as well, I must admit. I do kind of like it. But yeah, really, really cool stuff. And it's nice to see some information about her on these pages, because it's, as I say, it's a newer model, so not a lot of people know about more than that at the moment. So really, really cool stuff if you're into your Adeptus Sororitas size. Then we have our how to build section for the Canaptech Wraith. Very, very straightforward. Some sections you don't have to glue, so you can actually move the weapon up and down if you wish to. If you want to glue it in place and have it kind of fixed, you can. Entirely up to you how you want to go about doing it. And there are a couple of little areas where there are some slight build variations, so you can choose different versions of the kind of the head of the Wraith. You can also choose to have whether you're having the blade or the kind of positioning a little bit of certain areas, or you can have it with them kind of whips if you wish to as well. So completely different, and there is also ever so slight different variations that you can kind of get on with a couple of other bits and pieces. So you can have, as I say, you can have a whip coil on there, you can have one, you can have two, entirely up to you, or you could have none, your choice. But yeah, really, really cool stuff, and a pretty cool unit as well, and an ever so slight different change to the gun if you wanted to as well, that's underneath it. So you will be left over with some spare parts. It's up to you if you keep them, utilise them for anything as part of, I don't know, kind of debris on the base of a larger model or anything like that. You could do. It's entirely up to you though. Then you got your how to paint section. Very straightforward. Paint it up very similar to how you painted the last one. You're not going to go wrong, in all honesty. It will keep you going. A pretty cool unit though. You can make it look really, really cool. You can have it looking nice and kind of metallic, or you can go for a darker colour scheme, go with it matching your army straight up, or you can have it with kind of a weird fusion of how you can kind of decorate it and paint it up depending on how you choose. Your choice. At the end of the day, it's your model, but either way, if you do it their way, you're going to have something looking like that. So a very brassy looking Canaptech Wraith, and your other one as well will look very, very similar, and yeah, away you go. So pretty good, pretty decent model. Then we move on to our battle plan for the week. So we have conflict in the crypts. For this, you have your army lists. So there are 2 army lists that you can choose from each force. So your army list 1 for the Necrons is 1 Overlord, 1 Chronomancer, 10 Necron Warriors, 5 Immortals and 2 Canoptek Wraiths. Or your second army list is the Scorpek Lord, Royal Warden, 5 Flayed Ones, 3 Scarab Swarms, 3 Scorpek Destroyers, 1 Canoptek Plasmacite. And then for your forces of the Imperium, you can choose the first army list, which is 1 Primaris Captain, 1 Primaris Lieutenant, 5 Assault Intercessors, 5 Assault Intercessors, and 3 Aggressors. Or you can have the Sisters of Battle and the Adeptus Sororitas army list of 1 Canoness, 10 Battle Sisters, 5 Seraphim, 4 Repentia, 1 Repentia Superior, 3 Arco-Flagellants, and 1 Penitent Engine. So essentially all the Adeptus Sororitas models that we have had in the magazine collection. So, your choice. Either way, you can have a bit of fun with this, so really good stuff. And on the mission itself, it is secure and hold. So, you can deploy from 2 areas, from either corner of the battle mat, and the same with the defender. So you're using the mats from issue 4, apparently, and 38. So, mix them together, push them up, and yeah, really good stuff. Yeah, have a bit of fun with it, quite enjoyable. And yeah, depending on how you've picked your armies, depends on how many modules you can have, of course, on the field of battle. And it's all about, you know, secure and hold, and your secondary objectives are basically, you know, beating the hell out of each other and scoring as many victory points as you possibly can. So, really good stuff. Then we move on. So, we are getting an image into what we're getting into the future. So, we have some pretty cool stuff. So we have more of the Immortals, so that are coming, more Necron Warriors, we have, well, more Necron Forces, so we have some really cool ones. So we have Necron Legions, we'll have some pretty cool units for coming up, which look fantastic. Our final piece of terrain, I believe it should be, which is another of the reactors, just up in the corner there. And we have some pretty heavy Space Marine forces coming up, so quite a lot of Space Marine stuff to get, including some good old the ATV. We have one of the cannons, one of the mounted positions. We have a load of stuff, some really cool models in there. Yeah, kind of can't wait. It should be really good fun. And yeah, of course, in these last 20 issues, we will get Robert Gulliman at some point, and a lot of other really big units and quite important units for Space Marines. So really cool stuff. Quite enjoying it. It's really good fun. And yeah, we should have some really cool bits to look forward to. Moving on though to next week. So next week and the week after is parts 1 and 2 of our Space Marine Outriders. So the 3 bikes that you can see at the bottom there. Fast attack units. Our first Space Marine vehicles so far as well, so should be a really interesting bit to have and add into our forces, and yeah, quite enjoyable. So that's issues 59 and 60. Can't wait. Really good stuff. Right, that is it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye now.